So we're here with Ben Spackman, and you're a historian of religion and science and scriptural interpretation. What does that mean?
What that means is I started doing ancient Near Eastern studies, both as an undergrad and my first 6 years of graduate school. I did Semitic languages and literature. So I studied Hebrew and Aramaic, but also Assyrian and Babylonian and Arabic and Old South Arabian and Ethiopic and Ge'ez and Ugaritic, plus French and German and Greek.
That's it?
That's it. Okay. That was those 6 years. So I was very much in the ancient Near East and the languages and literature relating to the Old Testament. But they did not think I could sight read the Babylonian language well enough. So they did not allow me to get my PhD. Oh. So I took 6 years for my master's degree. My actual PhD, which I am just finishing now, I'll graduate in July, is in American religious history, where I study the modern understandings of Genesis and why they changed. So I do Genesis both in the ancient Near Eastern context, but also in a modern religious American context where it comes into conflict with science as people think.
Is that what you're going to talk about here in Gothenburg?
Exactly. Yeah. Some general things about the categories of science and religion and how those have changed over time and how those changing understandings have shaped common understanding of Genesis in a very bad way, to put it bluntly. Essentially, most people read Genesis thinking it's talking about scientific facts or natural history of the earth, and it's very much not trying to do that. It's not trying to do that in poetry or metaphor. It's not trying to do that at all.
It's got a different purpose.
Yeah. Ancient Israelites weren't asking scientific questions. They had other pressing needs that Genesis 1 is responding to. So we're talking about that background a little bit.
Okay. So, I mean, we can go on and on forever about religion and science. But like, let me just pose a general question. Is there a war between science and religion?
It's been commonly thought so, but it's historically not true. A lot of the episodes that people cite to prove this turn out to be much more complicated. Whether that is Galileo, in Italy 400 years ago, or something more recent, there are usually other factors at play, and it's been very oversimplified to say science and religion were fighting. This is not to say that science and religion don't ever conflict. They do, but it's usually fairly complex.
What is the church's position now on science when it comes to questions on evolution, etc., the Earth's how the Earth ages and so on?
Well, the church has been very clear in the last few decades that it has no position on evolution one way or the other. And the most recent publications in church magazines have said things like, dinosaurs lived and died on the earth millions of years before Adam and Eve. We don't know anything about that, but you can study it at church schools. BYU actually has a dinosaur museum of fossils that most people don't know about.
I haven't been there.
Yeah. So again, neutral on evolution and generally pro-science, but those positions aren't always well known.
Just in a sentence or two, what do you want the audience here in Gothenburg to take away from your remarks?
What I hope they'll take away is an understanding that their inherited way of thinking about this might not be the best way to think about it, and that there is a different approach that is simultaneously more faithful to Scripture and opens the door to science and removes a lot of that conflict.
Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
Glad to be here.